She's really marvelous. This boat is really in very nice condition. This is really a cool boat. Very cool. The bottom I like the best. This is wonderful. What a joy. Here we go. Well, maybe we'll go to the next boat. These are my golden years, don't you know that? Hi there, this is Captain Q. Join us as we travel hither and yon to show you some great deals on some really interesting boats and maybe learn just a little bit with each one. Hey, good morning, Randy.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Pretty great.
You found me here in South Portland, Maine at the Southport Marine Boatyard here. And it's a beautiful day. It's a little nippy, typical Maine November. I called you and told you to get here because we've all heard the apocryphal stories of finding that Porsche Speedster sitting in a barn in northern Maine covered with straw. And the farmer says you can have it for $100. And oh my God, what a story. And it has actually happened. Well, today we are going to do the same thing, but with a boat. Today, in this mass of fiberglass and aluminum behind me, there lies a Cal 40. And the Cal 40 is probably one of the more famous sailboats that have been made in the last 70 years or so. She was designed on the West Coast by a man named Bill Lapworth, together with Jack Jensen, put together a company called Cal. And then about 1963, he came up with this boat, this Cal 40. And what you're going to see here is a boat that's so different from the previous period of boats that had slack bilges and long keels and rudders attached to the keel. That was the way everybody, Sparkman Stevens, everybody built their boats that way. Lapworth came along and he did the sacrilegious thing of tightening up the bilges, shortening up the keel, and then above all, removing the rudder from the back of the keel and hung it practically out at the stern of the boat. Oh, and by the way, he also paired off about 3,000 pounds from the weight of a 40-footer of that period. These boats went so fast that in their first year, the first launching of the boat called Conquistador won the Transpac. And then other boats followed in her tracks in 65 and 67 and 69, all winning the Transpac race. That's a race from basically Los Angeles to Honolulu. These boats would reach speeds of 14 to 15 knots surfing for prolonged times. Now think of that. The average hull speed of a 40-footer is 6-7 knots, maybe. They're doing twice that plus. Oh yeah! For great periods of time. Unbelievable. And it just shook up the whole sailing world. This man has come up with something that is going to just change everything. As we look at it, bear in mind that this boat is designed originally for racing. The amenities and the layout below deck will be comfortable for offshore sailing. Let's go take a look at it. She has a wonderful bottom. First thing you see right off the bat, after a lot of boats we've looked at, is her bottom is very fair. In fact, the owners had it soda blasted within the last, year or two. And so it's very fair. It's got a good coat of bottom paint on it. As you can see, it's still ablating. And also notice too, the hard flat bilges. This is what they refer to as a flat bilge. And compared to slack bilges, there's a boat next door to us here that has the older style slack bilge with a full-length keel to it. That's very acceptable cruising design. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever, but it's not fast. It's not as fast as what Lapworth did with this design. Here he's taken that keel and he's shortened it up considerably at this point. And then here we go. What used to live here? The rudder. The rudder used to live right there. He's taken it off and he's put it all the way aft here. So now the boat has got the ability to really steer going downwind. It has all the leverage of the separated rudder like a dinghy, like if you were sailing in a Lightning or a small dinghy. And this particular rudder, while we're looking at the rudder, is another interesting point for this owner in this boat. This is called a Foss, F-O-S-S, comes from the Foss company, and they've taken over the manufacturing of new rudders for older boats. They often fail, the older rudders, and this design is more of sort of a whale tail with the bulk of the blade right out here in the middle, and this is probably 6 to 8 inches deeper than the original cow, which will give you a little more control going downwind. And these boats are the downwind speedsters. You might not know this right away, but this rudder is maybe 3 inches wide at the top. The older cow rudder was almost 5 inches. That's just another little aspect to the thing of less drag and it's a little more efficient blade. So these are great rudders. Here's our good old Martech prop, the old duckbill. That's the one we like to put a rubber band around while we're racing. And that opens up to give you your power, your motion. This was the leader in this new design. If we wander through this boatyard right now, you would see a whole host of other boats with fin keels and spade rudders. They are we could call those the children of Bill Lapworth's Cal 40. The hull has been painted and it's in good condition. This is not pure yacht condition, but it's owner condition. I'd be glad to own this boat and sail it for a year or two, maybe buff up the paint. I think this paint was possibly not sprayed. I could be wrong, but maybe just rolled and tipped, but it's still a good job. The bottom I like the best. This is wonderful.
Yeah, it's immaculate.
All right, let's take a look topside and see what we find in there. Here we go. Well, maybe we'll go to the next boat. We made it up. And, whew,
I don't know, does that qualify as making it?
well, I guess it's either here or there. We're now sitting in the cockpit. For those of you who've been looking at other sailboats and more modern boats, you're going to think, whoa, this is pretty plain vanilla. But simplicity of design and form follows beautifully here. We've got, this is a tiller-driven boat, and I don't know if you can quite see this fitting here behind the upright. This is going to accept a tiller. The tiller will arch up here. The crew, the working crew, will be sitting and working behind him. Thus, the big winches are furthest aft to handle the Genoa sheets and spinnaker sheets going downwind. The cockpit is nice and comfortable. You can sit here all day long. And we have a depth meter here, and I'm sure there's a knot meter behind this gauge right here. Let's just see if that pops off. Yep, there we go. So there's your speedometer, and you know how fast you're going. This is the machine. This is the boat. It's a 1950s Porsche Speedster for you. And what a joy. Cockpit's pretty basic. It's long. We like long cockpits. You could have a really, really tall person lie there, or they could even lie thwartships across the bridge deck. So I'm comfortable here. At the end of the cockpit is a lazarette for storage, and we just extra line storage and so forth in there, right?
Yep. Nice and big.
She's really marvelous. Right in front of me, I have all the engine controls. Yeah, no hatches. Something has gone on here, and I'm not certain what this is about. This happened on both sides. They've closed this off. It's almost as though they've done some work to get in here and needed to have these off. Then if we look up on deck, there's no mid-cabin hatch. The decks are very wide. They're probably 2 feet wide on either side of the cabin, which is great footing. And the foredeck, there's a lot of clear space up there. Lying on deck here on the port side of the cabin house is the main boom. We have this rolling gear right here to bring the outhaul of the sail. The clew of the sail would attach here. The sail bottom would sit on the sail track right here. And then when you wanted to move this car and tighten up the sail, you just crank the outhaul right here on this screw drive. Just open up the hatch a little bit and take out the hatch board. And I use the word board loosely. This is what they would have. It's a lightweight fiberglass piece. Looking down into the cabin, this is really a spacious 40-footer compared to some that we've seen. It's quite amazing what they've done here. They moved everything right back to the center of the boat to concentrate the weight. The engine is right under me right here. And so you've got the galley, refrigeration, stove, and all the heavy equipment that's down here right in the center of the boat. It's actually quite bright, even under the winter tent. We have 4 solid ports here. You've got those 2, and then you've got 2 big opening ports, port and starboard. And the berths are wide and big. But you notice how they slanted the backrest. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, when you sit down that, my back naturally is comfortable. A lot of times they just put a straight seat back so you're sitting like a tin soldier. This is comfortable. And by the same token, it's going to keep somebody in this berth when the boat heels over. And you would sort of get up and you would put your butt right inside there, roll over. Oh, let's go to Hawaii. This is it. You sit here and you're going to hear water rushing by at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I got a little light here so I can read my book to sleep. And when the boat heels over, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Give you a little cushion here.
I don't think that's going to fit there. What are you,
It is now.
What are you doing? The nice thing about the size of this berth is that most of us don't sleep like this unless we're holding onto a tulip or something. But you want to roll over and you twist over this way, or you can twist over the other way, and you're comfortable. It's not your queen size Serta sleeper at home, but this is really comfortable. And actually, these are very comfortable mattresses. They've got to be 4-inch foam at least. So look for this in a boat. Look that you can really lie down in a boat and enjoy it. And in the meantime, if you can just edit that film, I'll be back with you in 5 minutes.
All right. I know it's going to be 20, so.
Well, it's going to take 20 to get out of this thing. Think of this boat as all being set up for racing. Lots of door storage. This owner has kept a very tidy ship here. She's very tidy below. A wonderful midships table here. But imagine the size of this table right here. It's just huge. 6 people comfortably, the whole crew. 6 or 8 people maybe.
It's in great shape.
And it's a nice shape, very nice shape. Second, this was really set up for big racing offshore. This boat is really in very nice condition. I'm kind of amazed at how well she's held up over the years, and obviously somebody's put some legwork and time with it. All the interior's been painted in recent times. There might be one small access hole here. Let's see what we see. Okay, just access to the water tanks. Anyway, Randy's looking at the galley right now. It's pretty basic. Nice big 2-burner stove. Notice here too that there's no pressure hot and cold water. This is a racing boat, and it really has been set up for day sailing, day racing. And overnight, obviously you can do overnight. You just don't use any hot water showering. It has utensil storage. There's cup and food storage outboard here. It's all very nicely done for an older boat. I call this a working boat. This is a working racing boat. She's just tough. She's just a tough boat. Unbelievable. Yep, nice old shipmate. And that has a cover that'll cover the whole thing over, and you'll have more working space. So now I have a lot of counter space here to make up sandwiches. Be a good place for what? What would we like on this wall here?
Probably a C-swing.
Oh, we could just find one.
Yeah.
We could just find one.
Let's get one 3D printed.
I think we should. Back after me, you'll see 2, these were called coffin berths because they sort of look like coffins. Long and deep for the young crew to be able to get their weight aft on the boat, especially going downwind in the Pacific, they want to get their weight aft. Right now, they tend to get used for storage. Will not roll around. That's the other nice thing. So we do have access to the engine. I think Randy's got his light on the engine right now, and that's all been opened up, the after part of it. Same thing on the port side. Notice the Genoa sheets and the lines there that are all in good shape. So that's berthing for the crew. So you can have 2, 4, 6 right here with it, and have your whole crew sleeping right in the main part of the ship. And then we will have the normal V-Berths forward. We got a big chart table, bigness here. This is really probably the biggest chart table, albeit it has a secondary use, and that's that there is an ice box set in here, and I say ice box because there's no refrigeration in the boat. Not a lot of instrumentation down here. Basic instrumentation is up on the bulkheads out in the cockpit. And
You've got the frog.
oh,
You've got
the frog. Yes, that is. He's probably a good luck frog, this guy. That's a good luck frog. We like him. We've just opened up the companionway here. This is not a brand new engine, and I'm not familiar with the brand itself, but if you notice, we have 4 spark plugs, and those only go in gasoline engines, so it's a gas engine. It looks like it's all the components of it appear to be in good shape. It also runs a reverse drive there to it, and that means that the engine would normally be turned around in some boats, and that would be the shaft coming off of it. But here it comes down here and then hits this gearbox here and reverses, and underneath that you can see where the underneath this piece right here you can see where the shaft comes into the boat. And nice thing about that is the stuffing box is right there for you to keep an eye on for drip, any issues. One thing it doesn't have on this boat, which I'd like to see pretty soon, and I think there might have been here, I don't see grab rails. I'd like to have some grab rails in here because it's a wide space and we'd like to have something to hang on to. Underway, you're going to get thrown around. Moving forward, this is the mast step, and this is a molded pan that's sitting on a steel beam underneath there. That's where the mast is going to come right down through the hole here and sit on that particular plate. There's no shower in there, but it wouldn't take much to put one in if you needed it.
What would you do about the drainage?
You could pump out of the sump pump for the shower and into a scupper line from the cockpit, which is what they've done on one of the new rehab jobs. And it's a very clever way to do it, just to eliminate one more through hull coming out of the boat. We've got a nice size, actually forward stateroom here. The berth, I'm sitting on the edge of the berth. This isn't the lap of luxury, but it's very big, very spacious. The berths are almost rectangular, so you're not sticking your feet up in the little pointy end. You can see the deck beams laminated across here. The ceilings here, I think were added. I don't think that was original. But anyway, it dresses it up a little bit. Captain Q measuring stick. I'm 6'1". I'm standing in the center, and we have lots of room in here.
It's pretty beamy up there for a
very
V-Berth.
beamy. These boats carry the beam forward. Nice big hanging locker. Just a no-fooler. Just bigness. There we go. Cal 40 Speedster. Everything you need to go sailing really fast and really fun. And you'll still turn a couple of heads pulling into the harbor. Hey Randy, listen pal, that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. This particular boat was in outstanding condition. It wasn't brand new. It didn't look like it just came off of the production line, but for a boat that was 50 years old almost, unbelievable. The bottom was in great shape. The top sides were functional, and the deck was clear. The huge chart table, the galley was adequate. It's a racing boat, and today you could own that boat for $12,345. You could have a ball blasting around Casco Bay, jumping in the local races. You could cruise the boat equally well. The bunks were designed for full-size human beings. I think it's one of the buys that we've seen that would be most fun. Again, the Captain Q rating on this boat, surprisingly, we start out with a 10. Because I know that boat's going to float, and it's going to float really fast. And if you want to go to Bermuda, we know these boats can go to Bermuda. And if you really wanted to go to Hawaii in the South Pacific, take off, because they've won the Transpac race umpteen times. Terrific boat. This is definitely a recommendation for a buy. I got to give that on a fun scale. That goes way up. That's got to go up to like a 19. Try that one.
Woo!
That's a Captain Q fun rating for that boat. Is it a Hinckley? Is it finished like a Hinckley? No. But would that be a fun boat to sail and to own and just really enjoy? Yeah, I'm giving that a 19. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. We're having too good a time doing these things, so you can hit the bell or not.